What is going on, everybody? My name is Baloo and welcome to the jungle. This is the channel where we keep a very simple approach to technical analysis. We look at the price in the context of volume using the Wyckoff method. If that is something that interests you, then I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. I do this every single day, except for the days that I don't. So in today's video, I want to talk about YFII. So if you feel like you missed the boat on YFII, we're going to take a look at and see what the technicals are telling us inside of YFII, because it does look as though it's lagging a little bit behind YFI. So we could see some nice bullish momentum inside of YFII. So let's go ahead and take a look. I first want to start out by just making note of the DeFi index. So here we are inside of this, we have broken out, we are heading into markup inside of the DeFi index. So really good accumulation schematic inside of the DeFi sector. We got our nice backup on a support level, and we have been consistently marking up since. The markup is very, very consistent, so we have not had a change of character as of yet. Until we get a break of this level, we're going to just continue up. You got to keep your analysis really simple. Once you've done the Wyckoff stuff and you realize that the asset is heading into markup, just keep it simple. It's going to keep going up until there's a change of character, a change of behavior. And then when there's a change of behavior, you can begin to ascertain whether it's a reaccumulation or if it's going to be a distribution and we come back down. But yeah, it's looking really good inside of the DeFi sector. So let's take a look at some of the DeFi coins. Taking a look at my close watch list. It's not really active trades, but let's take a look at YFI. And you know what? Let's just do a dual screen here. And let's get YFI2 in here, or YFII. Right here, and let's do a side-by-side on these guys. Okay. Let's get a side-by-side on these. So first we'll draw the accumulation range. We're taking note of the volume. We have the stopping action here on YFII, and we have a demand signal here. So this is our trading range. So like we have a downward sloping range here, and then we had a change of character. So we're going to identify that range, going over to our seller's climax, bringing that over to our spring, pulling that up to about, I guess, to about here. Now I kind of like it down here. Let's zoom into that a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Yeah, so I like that. We rallied up here, got a little bit of a test, and then continued going. So that's going to be our phase A right here. Zoom back out there. We got our spring, a second test, fell through, got our spring. Let's mark the spring. So that's phase B right here. And we're going to mark phase C right here. And then we got our backup LPS, and we're beginning to mark up here. So it's looking really, really good. Going back to the preliminary support, I do want to draw a resistance range above the preliminary support line here. So that's going to be kind of from the bottom of that to the top of this is going to be our resistance. So let's make it red. So we need to break out. We need to get above that resistance point. But it's looking really, really good. The volume, we got a nice stopping action. Demand came in, protected the fall. And then we got a nice drop off in volume throughout phase B. In phase B, that's what you want to see. You want to see that decline in volume. And then in phase C, beautiful spike. Huge demand signature coming in phase C. Fantastic. Very, very healthy. This is good. And then on our test after phase C and phase D, again, drop off in the volume. to about here, and now we're starting to slowly see the increase in demand. So the demand is beginning to increase from about here up, and you can see that here from there up, we're getting an increase in demand. So what will more than likely happen on these backup phases, oftentimes you get a pennant. You could do another Wyckoff box on it, but it's very, very common to get a pennant. So we'll just draw a triangle. I don't often do these, and I don't do them perfect. I don't do them like a lot of other people do. I don't necessarily need the touches. But, you know, we're looking at some, I would like to give it some room. We're looking at some sort of break of this structure, and then a test of that break, and then continuation. If you miss this move here by the time you're seeing the video, another thing that you can do is basically get the test of the preliminary support. So we'll probably come out, get a test here, we might consolidate, and then come up, and a test right here would be fantastic before heading into markup. So that's how I would handle YFI. So let's see what's going on inside of that's what I would do on YFII. Let's see how that is correlating with what's going on in YFI. So if we're just zooming out, kind of getting the same structure here, you can see the similarities. That's what you want to see. And this is exactly what we saw in the DeFi index, is this setup, this downsloping trading range appears through in a huge, huge sign of strength onto the backup. Now, the preliminary support here was a little bit lower on YFI, and I think that's probably why we were able to get into markup sooner, is because we had less barriers above us to continue to get into markup, and we had this ascending reaccumulation channel. We tested the top of the channel, and we're back on top of that right now. I have an alarm set for this one because this is going to, it's very, very good. Now, how did I get these take profit levels here? So let me show you what I did. Take my Fibonacci, go from the swing high down to the spring, the low of the spring here, and I just placed one at the 618, I placed one at the 1, and I placed one at the 1.618. So those are my macro targets. Doesn't matter where I'm in the trade, that's going to be where I take profits. I took profits when we got close to this level here. It looked like it was going through distribution, which it did end up breaking down. I sold right around here, exited the position, and looking for re-entry. So because I did take profits at this level, don't need it anymore. But in YFI, we can probably expect to see something very similar. So let's go ahead and just draw a range from there down to the spring there. Let's drop a few lines here. So we'll take one to the 618. Always go below. You don't need to be with everybody else. All the other traders just don't. Bring one down to the 1. I'm going to go to this peak here, a little bit down below. If you stack with everybody else's order, you're just not going to get filled. So I always go below. And those are our targets. So basically what we're looking for our first target, and my target did eventually get hit. So even though I sold before hitting the target, if YFII does anything like YFI did, we should hit this target. So let's zoom in, take a look, and let's see what that kind of move would look like for us. So if we got let's say we got in at the break of the pennant right here, it's nearly a 100% move to the upside. So, you know, you get a 10x leverage position on that. You got 1,000% profit on that position. I do a lot of futures trading inside of my group. If you would like to learn how to use leverage and use futures responsibly, because there is a way, it does require some math. Risk management is so important. It is so important. You really, really need to learn how to manage risk. If you're not the type of person to want to manage risk, then you really shouldn't be trading futures. But if you are interested in learning how these contracts can be used and how flexible futures contracts can be for your trading, then I encourage you to join the Discord down below. We do have a free portion of the Discord, and we have a paid portion of the Discord. The paid portion is obviously going to be where you get your coaching, where you get your one-on-one education with me and some of my other analysts, and your trading strategies on options trading, futures contracts, any of that sort of stuff that implements leverage. And along with that as well, we got a ton of stuff on the free side. We got a lot of educational resources for you to take a look at inside of the free side of the Discord, so I encourage you to join that. YFI, it's looking great. You know, like we got this, we broke out of the box, got a nice test on this pennant here, and then kept going right here, break the box, a little bit of a pennant, kind of a different formation, but we broke out, and that first move there was a very considerable move. So we got, like a 60% move on YFI, and we can expect somewhat of a similar move inside of YFII, because these assets move together. It's the same protocol, it's the same sort of idea, and a lot of people missed out on YFI, and so they're diverting their attention over to YFI because it's a little bit further back inside of the trading range. So that is all the time I have for today. If you enjoyed the content, please leave it a like. Don't forget to subscribe, and if there are any comments or questions, if there are any coins that you would like me to take a look at, please leave them in the comments section down below. And until next time, please trade safe out there. It is a jungle.